The world of living things feels strange to us. We who have existed so long on the edges of time and space, it is clear now that we Chozo can never return to our dimension, not while the great poison reaches ever further into the planet. It is so powerful. This creeping evil, that our wills are crumbling and our minds beginning to fail. And so, before it is too late, we now make our last stand. We have begun to build a temple to contain this darkness. At its heart, we will place a cipher, a mystical lock powered by 12 artifacts, and filled with as much power as we Chozo can harness in our ethereal states. Even when we are done, it may be too late. Okay, hey, let's try this again. I'm DeoGenZ, and this time we're backtracking to the Chozo ruins and not, I repeat, not falling in this pit of lava due to my impatience. And yeah, we'll even sit here. We'll wait. There's no reason to completely die and have to do that entire sequence of getting the speed boost for my morph ball all over again. That's right. That's the importance of saving, folks, and why I recommend it highly. If you're going past a save point, like we did, going back through the Phendrana Drifts elevator to Magmoor Caverns, look at that. Those annoying-ass bugs don't even get affected by missiles. So, only way to deal with them properly is by putting a morph ball bomb in their mouth. But I think he's easy enough to dodge. He's not really going to... Oh, crap. He just changed his mind. He's like, something spherical that I could put in my mouth? Why don't you put my balls in your mouth and go suck on those bombs for a bit? No, but what we need to be doing now is going to an area that we couldn't access before with a power-up that we just recently obtained. That's the trajectory of this game. If you're ever lost and far away from the internet connection or a computer to see this LP, just know that the most recent update you got to your power armor is pretty much what you have to go use next to go to an area that was locked to you before. For example, the Magmoor Caverns, I never came down here, or at least I made a cut because I figured it out off screen that you can't come down this way until you defeat Flagra. It's frickin' possible. You will die because the heat down here in Magmoor Caverns is so excruciatingly ridiculous that you need the Varia suit. You need those shoulder pads that Samus has. They're not just for stylishness of her suit. It's got functionality to protect you from heat. So without those, you couldn't go down there. But with it, a whole new world opens up. And following it through, we find another world, the Phendrana Drifts region, that allows us to get now another power-up, the speed boosting ball. Oh, and by the way, missile expansion! That's a really easy one to get, so make sure you don't miss that one. You'll be walking through this area a couple of times if you tend to take that elevator like I do. And we're not even going to worry about those fools, because they're just annoying little burrowing creatures that, guess what, can't climb. So as good as their burrowing tactics are, they can't burrow underneath the ground and then dig up a rock to meet us up on topside, so they're pointless to defeat. They don't even give you any real items or anything like that. If you need some health containers, maybe missile expansions, well, not expansions, but re-ups on your missiles, then you might want to stick around and attack them. But there's not much we have to worry about in ways of attacking a foe to get our next piece of armor. That's the nice thing, is that for the minor upgrades, the minor suit upgrades like the charge beam, the missile launcher, the morph ball, we only have to face sub-bosses. Oh, watch that. Bam! Vaporized. Watch out for that gas bag shooting flower. If you don't eliminate it quickly, he will send a toxic stink bomb your way. So the easiest way to deal with that one, in that position there, because it's not always going to be so fortunate, are those exploding sacks, those orange things. That's how you could tell that that's what you want to hit. Orange is really jutting out from the environment, so you know that's the thing to jet. Because you bet it's going to explode big time, just like that dude's guts did. And so what you can do now that we can speed up, it may seem like a useless power-up at first, like, oh great, now I can go faster as a frickin' marble. Why would I want that? And the reason you'd want that is because using its speed to your advantage and timing it right while you are on a ramp allows you to climb up it much higher than you would have been able to before. So I think I got to reposition. This should be good. And a little bit higher. We got it! Oh yeah. And now we've just reached an area that was inaccessible to us before. See? Simple shit like that. Very simple shit like that. Such a smart developing move. Because someone who was not well versed in creating games, and this right here is a bomb point for your morph ball. Somebody not well versed in creating games, and they know that the basic premise is that you have to struggle through a game to get items to make your struggle less and to make your adventures more awesome. So what we're going to do is we'll give the player different beam weapons. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And we'll make every door a different beam weapon. And that can be used, and in fact, I will tell you this, with a little bit of a shortcut to spoilers, as if you couldn't figure it out already. We are going to have different beams. So the power beam is not solely going to be the only beam we are fighting enemies with, nor is it the only one we'll be opening and unlocking different pathways with. So, now we got one of my favorite power-ups aside from the charged beam. The space jump boots. There's a space jump in my boots. And that's the best thing you could ever hope to be in there. You don't want a toxic Talon Force Snake in there, so I'll take the space jump in them. And it does exactly what you think. Gives you an extra boost to jump with. And I actually heard that you could break the level a bit, sequence break things, and get the space jump boots first. Out of all things. You would think that you'd be getting like the missile launcher or, you know, the power, well, you couldn't get the morph ball, so you'd have to get the missile launcher. Ideally, you'd think that's the first item you're going to get as you explore the Chozo ruins. But no, I think that it might only be doable on the GameCube version. That's a very good possibility that that's the way it is, because with the GameCube version, the way that you targeted foes was based on the lock-on system. That's why you still see it in this game today. Not many first-person shooters, actually that's not true. Some first-person shooters decide to do a targeting system. Many don't, though. Many just solely depend on you and your FPS skills. And that's cool, but you gotta take into consideration, this was made on the GameCube, and back then, you know, the dual sticks, the C-stick and the joystick of the GameCube weren't too conducive to first-person shooting action, and actually, I'm not even sure how well FPSs did on the GameCube, if there was anything like Call of Duty or anything besides Metroid, but the way that Metroid handled it in their limited axes manipulation was that you could quickly lock onto a foe by hitting the shoulder button, and then you could, like we do normally, strafe around them by tapping the B button. And this guy, yeah, see? Get new enemies in new areas. He wasn't here before, but now he is. Alright, come on, charge at me. Oh, damn, I thought a missile would definitely do it. Alright, now I'm gonna finish you off. I'm gonna fuck you up with one charge shot. Biatch! So even though the enemies change from area to area as you gain more power-ups, it never becomes too steep of difficulty, and it never feels unfair or too easy. It's got such a great balance, this game. I think that's why it stands the test of time and why you can make a new Play Controls version of it on the Wii, because you know what? It's still a phenomenal game. Way better than what most is out there on the Wii. And that's saying something. Now, that's not to say that it's the only game that's out there on the Wii. There's a ton of Wii games that are made for Wii exclusively, starting out on Wii, not having their origin stories in GameCube, and they are excellent as well. But they do this sort of games. The same sort of qualities that make a good Wii game are what make this game so phenomenal, in that you move from area to area seamlessly without noticing sometimes the subtle changes that occur based on the suit upgrades that you've gotten so far. These war wasps, they never change. War, it never changes, and neither does its bugs. Unless there's radiation. Then of course, it's rad war wasps. And they're not radical, they're badical. But here's a badass secret here that's pretty simple to get, so not that much of a secret, but again, it's really a game that rewards you for paying attention. I would say that. You know, if you are a player who likes to get into the minutia of a game, this is really a good game to pick up for you. And I mean, I mentioned before the scans. You know, the scans alone will keep you in this game far longer than just playing the game, far longer than just fighting the enemies, getting the suit upgrades. I didn't mean to do that. It will keep you engaged and into the story and give you background story on this world that you're just not getting from playing this first-person perspective. It's really cool that they allow you to engage the game as you want. You don't have to be forced into cutscenes every single time you want to get a little bit of the story. And I think that's where Metroid Other M really delineates poorly from its mainstay of Metroidism. And you know, the mainstay of Metroidism, it's like the mainstay of Link from Zelda. He doesn't speak. And I'm not saying that Samus should have never spoken up. It's good that she can now, and she can say whatever she wants, really. Hopefully they get a more exuberant voice actor in the future, but, you know, hopes are hopes, and we could only see what Nintendo does with that. But a huge part of the Prime series is the fact that you're alone in this adventure. There's no co-op, there's nobody on your radio comm system calling you to tell you, hey, here's what's up, go to this spot so you can see the next cutscene of big explosions and beefy, manly dialogue. There's none of that. It's really based on what the player perceives. And that's what makes it so excellent, is because everyone is going to have their own experience with it. So instead of locking someone down into, oh, here's a cutscene and this is exactly how the story goes, this is exactly what's happening, the developers of the Prime series make it more cryptic. They make it cool for you to figure out what's going on. They make it compelling to go forward and get all these logs and scans, even if you don't want 100% of the data. If you don't want 100% of the game, it doesn't matter. Getting the logs on their own is still badass enough to warrant collecting a good majority of them. And yes, I do need to go into my mothball mode. So when games do that, I take note and I appreciate it. Because this is an adventure game through and through. As soon as you get off that crashed frigate, forget about it. The world is your oyster, and it's all for you to explore. So have fun, and the game will not force you into anything. Now, we came to this spot before, but I came here a tad too prematurely because we did not have the Morph Ball bombs. Now, when you come to this little lock area of the Chozo Ruins, you can break off any gates that are on it, and then activate it for a missile expansion. A very simple one to get, and I think a pretty sound spot to leave off this episode. The future is a vague thing, ever-changing and always in doubt. Even if we Chozo could gain the ability to foresee the future, it would be a hollow gift, for we could never hope to control what has yet to occur. The fountain is an example of this. The day may come when its water dries up, and there is nothing we could do to stop such a tragedy. But we do know this. Unlike the uncertain flow of water, the power of our will is strong and enduring. The will of the Chozo will never dry up.